Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm going to be confessing something from my self-publishing year. Something dark, something fun, but utterly awful. It is something haunting, something thick enough to down a wildebeest. So let's get to it. It is, of course, my first ever proof copy. Fantastically gigantic. It is a monster, bigger than a hand. I've got not small hands. This is my first ever copy, and friends, it is a complete and utter catastrophe in paper form. It is a waste of a tree, I'll be honest. I want you to imagine the moment. I had just sent off my first ever book. I'd spent months and months and gallons of caffeine into it, and all I wanted was one beautiful, still do, proof copy. One book to hold in my hands and whisper, yes, I made this. I pictured choirs, an angelic warm glow, maybe even a modest single tear rolling down my cheek as I opened the box. But what I got instead was something that looked like it had been printed for a giant. It was dull, it was boring, and it didn't have any numbers. And that giant would have used my book as a shield. It's a monster compared to what I actually ended up with in the end. I opened the box, I lift the book out, and I realised immediately it was hulking, monstrous. It literally is a literary monolith compared to what I wanted it to be. This is not a novel. This is a weapon, a doorstop, a paperweight, a true potential home defence system. Imagine that. That'd be a good old whacker. And so begins the resizing journey. Fantastic era that led me into this year. I wish I could tell you it was a one-size-fits-all quick approach, but it's not, no. I wish I could tell you I changed the trim size once, nodded proudly and moved on with my life, but no. I went through hundreds, well I mean hundreds, of different sizes, different variations, every possible dimension known to man, it felt like, and several that may have even defied the laws of physics. My desktop was just thumbnails, book cover here, book cover there, book cover there, of unused book covers that just weren't fitting. And whilst I was also fighting the ginormous monster that was on my Photoshop hard drive, I was also in the editing era too. First book in my trilogy took me 3 months of edits. 3 months! And every single time I finished one draft and thought, this is it, that's done, we've got it, I found another spelling mistake, another letter missing, and like, it was silly things, like instead of saying I stood up, it was just stood up. Every time there was always one letter out of place, and that's where my perfectionism brain was in full fight mode. I was going for it with him, and there was always a stray space, always a stray full stop. There's always something lurking in there, like an uninvited ghost. I practically became my own human typo detector. I was Grammarly, but human form. Some days I'd wake up at 3 AM in the morning and go, did I fix that on chapter 7? More often than not I didn't. No, I forgot about it completely. It's when my partner started chirping in there and telling me, Alex, you do know that on chapter 17 you repeated this paragraph twice. 2 months into the edit, that would cause me to sprint to my laptop as though I was trying to get to a chopper to escape a zombie apocalypse. But even out of all of that nonsense and pain in the arsery, cannot compare to the darkest, stupidest thing I did. This is my greatest formatting sin. The moment where all my credibility folded like cheap origami. I forgot to add page numbers. There are none. There are no, yes, my first pre-sale proof copies, none, no page numbers, 0. A barren wasteland of unmarked pages. And these all went out to ARC readers, potential agents, family, friends, people who trusted me with trees. On the page where the main character does the thing, chaos, absolute carnage and chaos. Some poor ARC reader probably turned to a Victorian ghost trying to navigate through that book. But here's the thing. all the mistakes, every oversized proof, every misaligned corner, every rogue letter. They taught me something. Not how to measure documents properly, not how to avoid physically detecting typos at midnight, no, but how to be a writer, how to persevere with a project. That first copy, that giant tome, reminds me of something important. You don't start perfect. You start messy. You start confused. You start with a book so large it can be used as a chopping board. But ultimately, you start. And that's what matters most. So if you're beginning your own self-publishing journey, here are lessons that I have learned so you don't have to make the same mistakes. Please do not do it. It is painful. Always triple check the trim size. Before I sent it all off to KDP, Amazon's Kindle deliveries thing, to independently do it that way, I just guessed a print size with the manufacturer of these books. I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty right, yeah. Got my little ruler out, measured against the books. Can't do maths apparently. GCSEs wasted. But if you've got your finalised copy, go onto Amazon Kindle, get your rough size, what they have. Some, I think it's like 5x7 or something like that. Put your full complete manuscript in to that format. Make sure you got your chapters in the nice linings, and it'll give you the end word count. So say it's 432 pages. One of these books is actually. You can put that in there and say what cover you want, and it'll give you the width and the length, and you can download that little template and you can put it into any photo editing software you want to build your covers. It gives you your left side, your right side, where your margins are, where they're going to cut it off. It's fantastic. I didn't know this until 10 revisions in. Check it a lot. Next, expect to revise. Not for an exam, but to revise a copy of your manuscript, your drafts, a lot. The reality is you'll probably read your book more than anyone will ever read your book combined. Even if you sell 20,000, you will have read every single word more than them, more than every single individual. You'll know where every word is, and then in 6 months' time you'll forget where everything is, and you forget the story that you've written because you've moved on in your trilogy. Don't go into it thinking you're a literary god. I know I am one, but you're never going to complete it first time, no matter how much you want to. That's all right. We'll get there. You will get there. Just keep revising, because the more you do something, the more you get better at it. And for the love of God and all that is holy, please add your page numbers. It is the bane of my life, that. And also, proof copies are priceless, even if they are cursed relics. When I sent off for 25 of these, I think it cost me about £100 from a private company. I'll put the link in the description below. But without it, I wouldn't be able to complete the whole trilogy. It gave me something tactile to work on, to annotate and work with. I knew, right, that's where it repeats itself. And I knew physically, right, this is where I need to go. This is why page numbers are vital for this part. But it gives you something physical to hold, something like, this is working. The cover is awful, it's very dull and boring. The new cover is very bright in comparison. And that's also a revised one, which I have updated in the last few months. Lastly, your mistakes don't define you. They train you. All those stupid little things I've done have helped me to make a whole trilogy. For example, it took me 3 months to edit the first book, and by the second one, it took me 2 months. By the third one, it only takes me a month to edit the whole book on my own and with the help of my partner. The more you practice, as I've said, the more you get better and the more you get used to how you can do it, and you will start to create, right, I'm going to do this. You'll create your own little systems, and they work fantastically well. So that's my confession. My proof copies are a crime against paper. But I survived. My book survived. And honestly, the story's way more fun that way. So if you enjoyed this chaotic therapy session described as a writing video, then hit like, hit subscribe, and let me know in the comments below what writing errors you've made. Or if you're starting your journey, what I'd love to know the most, what is the biggest creative mistake that you've made? I've made loads. I could make more of these videos. Because if it was chaotic, we're chaotic. And we may as well be chaotic together. Oh. This is a good custard cream.